Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're in Montevideo, Uruguay. You got the cathedral behind me. It is a really cool church to check out. And today what we have for you are actually the don'ts of visiting South America. And it is a big continent with lots of really great places to visit, from Machu Picchu in Peru to Montevideo here in Uruguay, or to Patagonia in the south of Argentina. There's a lot of really great stuff to see and do when you're here, but we're going to focus on the don'ts of coming to South America. And the first don't I have for you is, don't think South America is all the same. I mean, there's a huge difference from going to the Salar de Uyuni, the salt flats in the southern part of Bolivia, and the Atacama Desert in northern Chile, to coming here in Montevideo and Colonia in Uruguay, or heading up to the Amazon rainforest, or going to Ecuador and having fun on the equator there, or the Galapagos Islands, or Tierra del Fuego. There's so many different things to see when you are here that a lot of people just think, oh, South America is one place. Oh, no. You have mega cities like Sao Paulo and Buenos Aires. You have small villages you can enjoy like Ouro Preto, or you can go into small places like Colonia here in Uruguay, or if you want to go see nature, you go see the whales and the penguins in Puerto Madryn in Argentina, or the Galapagos. There's so much variety here that really, if you're going to come, don't think, oh, I saw Peru and Ecuador, I've seen South America. No, there is so much to see and do. So what I recommend you do is pick a couple countries to visit and kind of focus in that area. So do like a Chile and Argentina, or Argentina and Uruguay, or a Peru by itself, or whatever. Have those things out there and put it together, because it's not all one place. That's the first thing I got to tell you. Now, my number 2 don't about coming here, you'll get this one, is don't think you can always throw your toilet paper down the toilet. Now, some places you can, some places you can't. Most of the times there'll be a little sign saying, hey, don't throw the toilet paper in the toilet, throw it in the basket next to it, because a lot of places the pipes can't take it. So I just want to give you a heads up for that one. And I'll kind of like put together with a water kind of thing is, don't think you can drink the water everywhere in South America. Now, here in Uruguay, you can drink the water all over the country. You're pretty much fine. But other places where you go, Ecuador and places sometimes, in Brazil or Peru or whatever, you will need to drink bottled water. And the thing is, you'll see is that places that don't have drinking water for you, the hotels will give you bottled water, or in the main lobby, they'll have like a big tank of water that you can fill up your water bottles. So you do want to you make sure you are okay with that one, all right? Now, another thing I want to talk about is, I know I say, don't the toilets and don't drink the water stuff, but another don't I'd say to kind of go with the safety thing is, don't take your safety for granted when you come to South America. Now, there's safe places here. Uruguay is super safe, but there's other parts of South America that aren't so safe, and you need to be careful. So late night kind of stuff, pay attention where you are. Also, pay attention to your food, because you know what, getting attacked in your tummy is also not a good thing, all right? So that's why I would say is, don't forget to bring a first aid kit when you do come here. And in your first aid kit, because you're going to be doing hiking and canyoning or rafting or exploring, cuts, bruises, neosporin, those kind of things, we bring those with us. But also, if you get the attacks on your tummy, your Pepto-Bismol, your Imodium, things like that, you want to bring that medicine with you in your first aid kit, so you do have something. And I know I'm making it sound kind of scary or bad or tummy dangerous here, but honestly, probably my favorite don't of coming here is, don't be scared to try the interesting, different local food, because there are some really great things you might like to have, like empanadas in Argentina and Chile, or maybe chivito, which is like an awesome steak sandwich here in Uruguay. But then there's the funny, crazy stuff. Maybe you want to have alpaca, which is awesome. Alpaca steak, oh my god, my youngest, he will eat like 10 steaks in a row because it's so good. Or maybe you want to have something like chicken cooked in its own blood. Oh yeah, you can have that in parts of Brazil. Or maybe you want to eat a grub. Yeah, go in the Amazon basin in Ecuador, and they sell grubs, like big fat grubs. I would suggest you snap off their pinchers, pop them in and eat them, and while they're wriggling down, they kind of taste like fat bacon, so it is pretty good. Or maybe you want to have, you always wondered what your little school guinea pig tasted like. Well, you know what? If you're in the Andes, if you're kind of in Ecuador or Peru, you'll see a lot of people eating guinea pig in the mountains. It's called cuy, and the great part is, you'll see it when they cook it, sometimes it's on a spit and it gets like rotated around, and so it'll be served to you kind of like spread eagle style. Well, there's other ways to do that, but that's one of the things. When you come here, don't be scared off by the food, because you're not sure what it is. It's so good, from the fruits, the vegetables, the meats. My goodness, here in Uruguay and Argentina, you're eating meat so much it's gonna burst out of you. In Brazil, you have these crazy fruits you've never heard of. So don't be scared to try the local stuff when you are here. Now, talking about the food, there are 2 foods you really should know about before you come here, and I'm going to put a don't with that, and that is don't be anti beans and rice, okay? Because you will have a lot of beans and a lot of rice when you are in South America. Now, the southern cone, you don't have it as much, but in the Perus and the Ecuadors and the Brazils, arroz e feijão in Brazil, I mean, you will have it breakfast, lunch, dinner. So dinner, it's rice and beans. Well, breakfast, you might have beans and rice. And the thing is that's a very common staple in South America, so be ready for it. And you will eat a lot of it, and it will be almost a joke sometimes when you're hanging out with other tourists. What'd you have for lunch today? Beans and rice? Oh, really? I had the other plate, the rice and beans. And sometimes it's beans with a little bit of rice, or a little bit of rice and a lot of beans. So you do have that. So don't be anti-beans and rice, because you will get a lot of it when you do come down here. Now, when you do come down to South America, what you need to realize is don't expect English to get you everywhere, okay? Now, if you're in a major city like Sao Paulo, here in Montevideo, or bigger tourist places like in Peru, you will have English menus and stuff like that. But traveling to South America, it is vital that you know at least a little Spanish, or if you're going to Brazil, a little Portuguese before you come, because just a little bit of, you know, gracias, which is thank you in Spanish, or obrigado, which is thank you in Portuguese, or donde está, where is in Spanish, or onde está in Portuguese. Like knowing the where is and the thank yous and stuff like that will be a big help to you, because English is not really spoken very widely around here. Maybe in some of the hotels they'll have some people that speak, and maybe in a restaurant, but it's not a very common thing. So really, get one of those apps to help you learn a little bit of Spanish before you come. And I'm not saying you need to be fluent. I'm just saying make sure you know like 10 or 20 words so you can order your food and ask directions and stuff like that, because it will make a big difference. And what's great is the people down here are so warming and welcoming. Even if you don't speak Spanish or Portuguese, they're going to help you have a good time. But if you speak a little, they really appreciate that, and they really take you in. And that's what I love about here, is how wonderful and warm the people are. But it really does help if you speak a little of the local language. And where that little local language will really come in a lot is my next don't, and that is don't trust your taxi drivers. Look, when you're coming down to South America, I mean, anywhere in the world, taxi drivers don't have a really great reputation. Now, I'm not saying every taxi driver is bad in South America. I've had a lot of great taxi drivers. I've sat in cabs for like half an hour just talking with taxi drivers for fun. But the thing is, you need to be careful when you're taking taxis in South America. So if you're going to go to a hotel or hostel or whatever, make sure you ask them, hey, how long should it take? How much should it cost? So you have a rough idea of what you're going to be spending, so you know if they're trying to rip you off or not. So do have a heads up for that, okay? And that's why, I mean, in some places like in Brazil, you might find Uber. Here in Montevideo, there's Uber. That's other options out there. But just do have a heads up with it, because the taxi drivers, that's when I've actually had the most of any of the problems when I've been here, and I haven't really had many problems in my many times here in South America. Now, you may notice, you're thinking, Mark, you're in South America. Why do you look so cold? Well, I'm here in the winter. And my next don't for you is, don't forget, the calendar flips in terms of the seasons. So the summer in South America, December, January, February, March, that's summer season. July, August, that's the cold part of the year. Now, the thing is, when you're going to be booking your vacations, you want to be prepared for that. So if you want 2 summers, yeah, come in January or February. So you're going to have summer down here, and then when you go back to the US or Europe or wherever, you can have summer there. So do have a heads up for that one. And you will see that if you come in the winter time, the Julys and August, a lot of places will be closed that you might want to go see, because they know that most of the local tourists aren't coming as much. So do have a heads up for that. And I guess if you are going to be coming to the summer and you're going to be heading to the beach, one thing I will say is, no matter what beach you go to in South America, and this should be any beach you really go to in the world, don't take any valuables to the beach, okay? Especially if you're in Brazil, there's a lot of people that might come by and pick up your stuff. You do want to be careful with that. So if it's something you're worried you're going to lose, don't take it to the beach, okay? So that's one thing. Also, I would say is, don't go to the beach at night. I know it's gorgeous to see the beach at night, but that's when it's at the most dangerous. One, for the water, because you might not notice it, and then no one's there to help save you if there is a problem. But also, that's a lot of times when, you know, nefarious folk might be out on the beach, so you do want to have a heads up for that, okay? Now, my next don't is actually staying with a kind of safety thing, and that is, don't bring the bling when you come down to South America. Look, I'm not wearing my wedding ring, I'm not wearing any fancy clothes and things like that when I'm down here, and I recommend that to you too. Now, I'm not saying dress like a slob, but I am saying is you want to dress down. You don't want to dress up and make yourself a target, because some places like Uruguay, man, you can dress up, it's no big deal, it's really safe. But when it's Saturdays, you see a lot of people dressed up. But you do want to be careful when you are here. here, okay? So, you know, your gold watches and your fancy watches and jewelry and stuff like that, maybe you leave it at home and maybe get like a cheaper version of your wedding band or something like that to bring down here, because you don't want to make yourself a target, okay? And speaking of making yourself a target, I don't know about you, but whenever I come down to South America, at least when it's not this cold, is the bugs find me to be the tastiest target out there. So when you come down here, don't forget to bring your bug spray and sunblock when you come down, okay? Because I know you can get sunblock and bug spray here. I just found it cheaper to get it in the US and Europe and to bring it than bringing it down here or buying it down here. So I would get that. And also, you know what you're gonna get when you're back home. So do bring those things, because you will need it. I remember when I was staying in the Pantanal, which is like the swampy region in like South Central Brazil, Southwest Brazil, however you want to say it. And I remember I had like the wristbands, and I would walk around in the evening, early evening, late afternoon, and I could, with that mosquitoes were coming out, and I could see the bubble of mosquitoes around me, because I'm like, oh, thank God I had those, because I didn't, man, they would eat me alive. And if you're one of those people that bugs like, they're going to love you down here, okay? My littlest one, I don't think he has any blood left, okay? So make sure you do bring the bug spray and stuff like that, all right? Now, another thing I want to talk about is in terms of transportation, and that is, don't think every bus ticket is the same. Now, you're going to be taking a lot of buses when you're in South America, because the planes are pretty expensive and there's no train system and stuff like that, and private drivers or renting cars, not always an option. So you're going to be taking buses, long buses. I can't tell you how many 20 to 24-hour buses I've taken in my times here in South America. And there's one thing I've learned: not all 24-hour buses are the same. You get what you pay for when you buy your bus ticket, okay? So if you see one that costs more than the other, they might have better seats, or they might have Wi-Fi on it, or a TV or something out there, because there can be big differences. I know when I took, it was like a 24-hour bus ride from Buenos Aires down to Puerto Madryn in Argentina to go see the penguins and whale watching and stuff like that. It was Peninsula Valdez. It's gorgeous. Go there if you can. It's awesome. But when I went down there, I got like the expensive one going down. I'm like, oh, this is really nice. I mean, it was like laying back, kicking back, relaxing, comfy seats, movies going on. It was awesome. And then when I was getting my ticket back, well, I was like, oh, I'll just get whatever other ticket is. Oh, that's the next one that goes to Buenos Aires. They're both 24 hours. I'll just get that one. It's half the price. It was like sitting on a school bus for 24 hours. My back was messed up for like a week. And this isn't fat Mark, this is skinny Mark, you know, and college Mark that was like, oh, ow, ow, ow. So you do want to be careful with that, all right? Also, make sure you check the duration, because though they're going to the same destination, some might take longer. So getting that express bus might save you a few hours on a ride. So just have a heads up for that as well. And the thing is the people here really are amazing. I've really enjoyed my times living here and traveling through here with my family, with my parents, my friends, and it's really a great time. And the thing is, one of the things that kind of upsets me, and I'm going to put this as a don't, is don't gawk at the people. One thing I've seen is people like in Rio, they'll have tours of the favelas, of the shanty towns. Where I was in Asuncion, like, oh, would you like to go through the shanty town to see how things are there? And I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. These are real people. These are working people trying to get by. They're not animals in a cage. They're real people. So when you do go out there, think about those things. And if you're taking pictures of people dressed up in traditional clothes and you know that they're asking for money for the pictures, give them money for that picture. I can't tell you how many people are like, oh, I thought I could just take your picture. Like, no, that's actually their job. Okay, that's how they support their family, is to dress up in the traditional stuff and have their alpaca or have their llama and stuff like that, so you can take a picture, because you know what? It does make a difference, and it is a way of people's lives here. And another way of life are the guides, okay? My next tip for you is, don't forget to tip your guides when you do come here to South America. Because if you're hiking the Inca Trail, you've got your guide, you've got your cook, you've got your porters. You need to tip all those people. You're going to do a tour of Lima. You're going to do a tour of Uruguay or wherever. If you got a guide, don't forget to tip them. But don't forget like the driver and the other people as well. So you do want to do that as well, okay? So we're here in Buenos Aires to give you a few more of the don'ts of South America. Actually, another don't I'll say for you is, don't forget that American means more than just from the USA, okay? Because North America, Central America, South America, we're all the Americas, so everybody considers themselves an American. So just have a heads up for that when you are talking to people. Now, my next don't for you is, don't forget about the siesta, and don't forget to plan around it. Now, if you're not sure what a siesta is, it's basically people take off from like 2 to 5 in the afternoon for a break. And in some places it means the shops are closed, the banks are closed, or things don't run as frequently and things like that because people are going home to eat or have a break or whatever. So you need to plan around that. If you want to do your shopping or things like that, you might want to shop in the morning or later in the evening. Now the thing is, it's not every country is really big in the siesta, but do check it out because it can influence like when you're going to be doing things. So just have a heads up for it. Now my next don't for you has to deal with football or soccer, and that is, don't underestimate the rivalries between soccer teams in South America. Now, here in Argentina and Buenos Aires, you have Boca and River Plate. And the thing is, if you walk around town as a tourist and you pick up a Boca shirt, which is blue, yellow, blue, and you see a River fan, you might get this, which is like, no, you need to have the stripe one like this, the River Plate one. Or if you're wearing a River Plate jersey that has the stripe across this way, someone will go, and they'll be like, no, you need to have the bars across the front. So you do have really intense rivalries here, not just between the dogs, okay? And so do have a heads up because, I lived in Sao Paulo, so for me, it's tricolore. It's all about the Sao Paulo soccer team. The rest of the teams in Sao Paulo, whatever, they don't count. They're not real soccer football teams anyway. It's just Sao Paulo that matters. So you do have some pretty intense feelings about soccer when you are here. And then last one I'm going to go through here in Buenos Aires is, don't expect to have great internet when you are down here in South America. The hotels and internet cafes and stuff like that, there will be Wi-Fi, lots of places you go, it's not a problem. But I would say is don't expect blazing fast internet when you do have internet at the cafes, at the hotels and stuff like that. Actually, what I found has done the best for me throughout South America is actually my data plan on my phone, where I could get 4G or LTE or 3G technology, no problem. That's actually where I had the fastest internet versus the hotels and stuff like that. So I do hope you make a decision to actually come down to South America and visit, and whether it's going to Peru and seeing Machu Picchu, or going to the Amazon rainforest, or it's heading here to Buenos Aires, I do wish you a great time and have great fun when you do come here. And don't worry, you will. This continent is amazing. So have a great time, and we'll talk to you later.